The following program contains violence, disturbing imagery, nudity, and, oh my God, why are you even watching this? Just run away. This shit is going to give you nightmares.
Recorded live at the Jerrad Show studios in Tampa, Florida. It's another episode of the Jerrad Show. And now, here's your host, Jerrad Suarez.
That's right. Back again for another episode of the Jerrad Show. Today is Friday, May 11th, 2018. Coming to you from location. That's right, the Jerrad Show has made it to Hawaii. The beautiful island of Maui and the Grand Wailea Resort. That's right, we're sitting here outside on a beautiful patio at the Grand Wailea Resort in Maui. As you can tell, it sounds a little crappy. You get a little bit of background in the background noise there, and boy, let me see what's going on here. I'm getting like an echo in my headphones. I know it's not coming through. Well, who cares? Let's talk about where we're at today. Today we are at the Grand Wailea Resort in Maui, and I've removed my headphones now, so I'm not getting that echo sound. But I can't keep an eye on. I guess I can keep an eye on the volume, which seems to be okay. Maybe I'll turn it up a little bit. Let's see. So adjust your speakers accordingly because it's going up. There we go. Okay, so now I'm getting a little bit of peaks. Let's see. That's what happens when you're on location. You got to really figure out technical aspects of the show. Anyways, it's about 8:20 in the morning, and I gotta say, to start off, that's one of the craziest things about being in Hawaii is the time difference. It's 6 hours behind Florida, behind the Eastern Standard Time, and the first couple of days were pretty rough. I gotta say, it was pretty difficult to stay awake past like 7 o'clock at night, and that's basically when the sun sets here. And 6 hours behind means that it's at 7 o'clock at night. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. So, I'm used to staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning sometimes. But now we've pushed it even farther, so where I am, definitely up at least until 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. And I think that's going to be really hard to get over when I get back in town. This morning I woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning, or just a little bit before 7. So again, that's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon back home. So I am kind of dreading going back and having to deal with the jet lag. I don't think I've ever dealt with jet lag that bad. We did go to Seattle, and I also did record a podcast when we were in Seattle with Daniel, and it was on 420, and it's completely legal to smoke weed over there. It's recreational use. So, obviously, we got, super high and did a stupid podcast where you listen to it and you're like, these guys are fucking stoned. So I haven't released that one yet. That's probably going to be a special. Maybe even a Patreon exclusive. But that was Seattle. This is completely different. This is Hawaii. The time difference, man. I guess that one of the easiest ways to get adjusted to the time would be to, like, you know, eat as soon as you get to where you're going. Eat at its proper meal time. So if, you know, we arrived here, I believe, around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, close to 3. So we did eat an early dinner that day, and it kind of helped out a little bit. But any tips that you might have for surviving jet lag, and such a massive jet lag like that? I know it's not like, you know, going to China or anything like that, but it's as far as you could possibly travel while staying in the United States. I guess you could go to, like, American Samoa or Guam or something like that, and that would be farther, and it would be more time backwards. But staying in the actual states, this is as far as you could take it. I'm enjoying myself. We've done a lot of really fun things here. Probably some of the most fun things that I've ever done on vacation. We got here on Saturday. Saturday the 5th. Cinco de Mayo. And we really didn't do very much. I don't really remember what restaurant we went to that night. And if I'm thinking about it now, I really can't. I can't think of what restaurant we went to that first night. It's mainly because we were all so tired, and so we really just pushed through the rest of that Saturday and went back to the house. Now, the cool thing about this trip is we split it up. The rest of the family is here for a business meeting, conference, convention, whatever you want to call it. They're here on business, so they wanted to get a little bit of extra time in to where we could go around the island and do cool things. So we got here 4 or 5 days early. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So about 4 days. And what we did, well, the first day, Sunday, we just went around in Lahaina. That morning we woke up, I made some French toast, I think. Oh, no, I made, I made French toast. And then we went to a couple of restaurants. We stopped at a little market, a little crafts market. I picked up one of those Maui fish hooks. If you've ever seen Moana or know anything about the Polynesian culture. In Polynesian culture, God is a fisherman, and these little hooks. The one that I've got actually is kind of big. It's probably about 2.5 inches long. It's very ornate. It's got carving all over it. And since God is a fisherman, wearing this hook is supposed to bring you prosperity, abundance, good fortune, good luck, all that stuff. And apparently, when you put it on, as it goes in the culture, when you put it on, the hook connects with you, and part of your soul goes into the hook, and it's it's one and the same. And this is always going to be my fish hook. It's made out of bone, which is pretty cool. It's kind of heavy, and It's very beautiful. So I bought that at the crafts fair. We tried out this place called Island Cream Co., which is like a Hawaiian ice cream shop, which was pretty cool. And we had lunch at a place called Honu. And Honu is like a seafood and pizza place. And we saw it on this channel on TV called MVC, which is the Maui Visitors Channel. And there was a spot on restaurants where they first showed off this very fancy fine dining restaurant called Mala Ocean Tavern, which looked amazing. You know, all the food looked delicious. The desserts. The dessert was like a macadamia nut ice cream. And, excuse me, I was just eating breakfast and I'm, having some acid reflux type issues here. Whew. So anyways, I got a fish sandwich from Honu. And the mahi was mahi-mahi, and it was a little bit overcooked, kind of dry. And it was paired with a Korean aioli, which was, it didn't go together. So at that point, I was like, okay, so these restaurants that were shown on this MVC channel, this might not be a good thing because, they can't even get a cook right on a fish sandwich for lunch. Everybody else really enjoyed their food. The girlfriend had a shrimp sandwich with these little tiny bay shrimp in it, and she said it was lovely. The star of the table, though, was the girlfriend's dad got a cilantro lime pesto rock shrimp pizza, which, when you think about it, you're like, ugh, shrimp on a pizza? That sounds disgusting. Apparently it was out of this world. Everybody loved it. I didn't try it because I didn't want anything to do with that. Shrimpy pizza. That just doesn't sound like my thing. I'm sure it was tasty, but I didn't want to try that. It doesn't sound like something I would want to try. I love rock shrimp. They're delicious. They're like, the little rock shrimp are the little tiny shrimp that look like lobsters almost, and they are delicious, but I don't know about that on a pizza. So after that, that's when we went over to the crafts market, got the fish hook, and then we went to the Island Cream Co. I got a pineapple cream ice cream scoop, and it was delicious. It was served with a little half of a praline cookie, and I enjoyed it. It was fantastic. It was creamy, light, refreshing. All the things that you want out of a pineapple ice cream dessert. It kind of did taste a little bit like a Dole Whip. I gotta tell you, it's the Disneyland classic, the Dole Whip. It was fantastic. From there, we headed back to the house to relax and just hang out for a little bit. I think Andy and I got into the pool or the hot tub. I don't really remember. It was the hot tub. I never got in the pool at the house. And then we went to Mala Ocean Tavern for dinner. And I gotta say, of all the restaurants featured on the MVC, this one, Mala Ocean Tavern, it just looked delicious. The ice cream, the macadamia nut ice cream, was what everybody wanted. We saw it on TV. It looked delicious. So we go in, and they serve us, some chips and salsa, which is kind of weird. Getting chips and salsa at a steak place, a steak and seafood place, and I didn't try it. I didn't want to have chips because I have problems with my teeth, so I didn't want to be chomping on stale tortilla chips, which in fact they were stale. The salsa it looked delicious. It was pureed. It wasn't one of those chunky salsas, which I really like. A nice, fine, smooth, pureed salsa rather than a chunky salsa. I want all those flavors together. I want a little bit of all of those flavors. I don't want to bite into a salsa, a chip with salsa on it, and taste. Bite into an onion, a crunchy onion. That's not something I'm into. I love the flavor of onion, but the crunch of it is just ugh. And then when you get a big piece of it, it's just so powerful. I like it when it's pureed, and this is what it was. And I believe there was like what looked like guacamole in the center of it. It was an edamame puree, and at that moment, when he said it was edamame puree, I was like, "Oh my god!" Whoever wrote this menu is just trying as hard as they can to go over the top, and this is exquisite fine dining with edamame puree in the salsa. Ugh. Start looking at the menu. Nothing looks good. Everything looks like way over the top. Just like, French ingredients with Asian ingredients with Hawaiian elements to it. It was just really confusing, over the top, overthought, bougie. Like, it was trying to be a super fine dining restaurant on the beach. And it's not. It's in a little shack. It just really was disappointing. I ordered a filet, which was $50, and they couldn't cook it right. It was overcooked. The girlfriend's father ordered the same thing, and it was undercooked, so completely inconsistent cook on the steaks. And nobody else really liked their food. So we were like, okay, we ate as much as we possibly could and got the dessert. We were like, okay, bring on that dessert, man. At least the dessert is going to be delicious. If the food was crappy, at least we know that the dessert was going to be delicious because we saw it on TV. It was a nice big bowl of sliced fruit, strawberries, blueberries, other kinds of fruit in there. Looked really delicious. And then a big giant scoop of macadamia nut ice cream. And everybody was excited for it. We order it, and a couple of seconds later, our server comes out with a tiny little, maybe 6-ounce sundae glass. It's the smallest sundae glass that you could possibly purchase. And it had 2 tiny scoops of what they called macadamia nut ice cream. Maybe half of a sliced strawberry and a couple of blueberries on the bottom. Not anything even closely resembling what was shown on the television. And it was so small, I didn't want to take a bite of it because I don't really care for desserts all the time. If I'm going to eat a dessert, it's going to be on its own. I don't like usually eating dessert directly after dinner. So I let everybody else try it, and apparently it tasted like it was vanilla ice cream with some macadamia nuts crushed up into it, like a couple of macadamia nuts crushed up into it. Extremely disappointing, super disappointing. If you ever come to Maui and think, hey, that Mala Ocean Tavern place looks pretty good, I see it on the TV here, don't do it. Skip it. Go to Honu if you really want to go to a Mark Ellman restaurant, because apparently this guy Mark Ellman owns 3 restaurants that are all right next door to each other. Mala Ocean Tavern, Honu, and then Frida's Mexican Frida's Mexican place was closed that day because Saturday, the day before, was Cinco de Mayo, and apparently it was crazy over there. So we didn't get to try the Mexican food, but I'm glad, because it probably would have been bougie-ass, over-the-top, over-thought-out, confusing Mexican food, just like the rest of it. So, after that, we made our way back home, and I think I went to sleep pretty early that night. And on Monday, actually, let me take it back and tell you a little bit about something that also happened on Sunday before we went to go eat and venture around the town. Andy and I wanted to go take a walk from the house that we were at. Let's kick it way back. Let me tell you a little bit about the house first. The house that we were staying in is in Lahaina, which is on the farthest west coast of Maui, and it's a beautiful little spot. We stayed in a house that was in a place called the Pu'unoa Beach Estates. These giant houses on giant properties. The house that we stayed in was a $3.6 million house, 30,000 plus square feet, 5 acres. It was 3 bedrooms, 1, 2, 3, 3.5 baths, a giant kitchen, giant great room where you could sit down and just look out over the ocean at the other island. Molokai, I believe, was the other island that was out there. It was a beautiful house, and when we got there, the guy Caleb, who owned the house or who managed the property, went and said, if you guys want to go walking around the property, there's a bunch of fruit trees in the back, like citrus grove kind of in the back, and some more citrus trees and other fruit trees in the front. You go look at those, check those out. If you want to pick any of the fruit, go ahead. If you want to pick any of the flowers, bring them in. Just be careful of ants. You know, we don't want a bunch of ants inside the house. But also, he told us that there was a trail just beyond the ridge. There's like a just beyond the tree line behind the house. So Andy and I, that Sunday, before we went to Honu or Mala or the craft market, before we did any of that, Andy wanted to walk around the trail. So we went up to the trail, and just off of the trail, where the gate from the property meets the trail, just to the left of the trail was what looked like some sort of like road, kind of like a very primitive road. Like they just laid down concrete, they just poured it out and let it dry. And over the concrete, there was rushing water, like water was rushing over it. And we found that that was a stream that went all the way from the mountains all the way down to the ocean. And it was like waterfalls, and it was a stream, and it was really beautiful. And we spent a lot of time there, but not at first. As soon as we saw it, we were like, oh, we got to go grab the rest of the family and bring them over here and just surprise them. So we went back and we were like, get your flip-flops on. We got a surprise for you. Come with us. And we took them around. And it was really beautiful. Lots of big rocks, and the water was beautiful and cold. And we all walked around in the stream and walked up and explored a little bit, got some sun. And when we walked back down to the trail area, there was a dog, like a little blonde pit bull. And you're like, oh, look, there's a dog. And then it had a collar on. It wasn't a stray. And it was so excited to see us running around, saying hi to all of us, jumping around, playing. Super fun. We continue down, and sitting at that pass where the concrete was poured was a couple, real cool couple with two more little dogs. One was actually a pretty good sized dog, and the other one was like a pretty big Chihuahua, but still a small dog. And we started talking to them, and turned out the guy owns a tattoo shop here on Maui. And he was like, yeah, this is what I like to do. I like to do Japanese style tattoos, Polynesian type tattoos. This is what I do. It was really cool. Gave us a little postcard type business card thing. And he said, come into the shop tomorrow. I open at 10, and come check out some of the stuff that we do over there. So we finished out the day. I already told you about Sunday, going to the restaurants and the craft market and all that. And then Monday came, and I made French toast that day. I made French toast for the whole family. And it was delicious, of course. And after that, we went and we all went down to like the same area where the craft market was. There was a Supercuts and a little nails place. So the rest of the family got their nails done, haircut, all that fun stuff, trimming and pampering. But Andy and I went to the tattoo shop. The dude was really cool. Loves gaming, Nintendo. He was telling me all about the Nintendo Switch. He even let me play his Nintendo Switch. It was really cool. He was trying to tell me, dude, throw your DS in the garbage, because the Switch is the best. And I was like, yeah, I know, but I don't want to spend $250 on a gaming device that's handheld, because, anything could happen. I could drop it, break it. And I would be devastated if I spent that much money on something and then it broke, because of my stupidity. So I sat there and talked to him a little bit. He's a PlayStation kind of a guy too, but he just got the Switch recently, so he's all into that. I think I would probably get an Nintendo Switch eventually. It seems like a cool thing, but 3DS is cool enough, to have 3D in your hand, and the graphics are fantastic anyways on the 3DS. They're good enough for me, at least. So Andy decided to get a plumeria, which is the Hawaiian lei flower that's very popular. She decided that she wanted to get a tattoo in Hawaii to commemorate the trip, and she loves the plumeria flower. She's had it, like a little hair clip with a fake plumeria on it, and she loves wearing that, and it's really pretty on her. So we did that, and met the rest of the family back on the other side, back where we had originally taken off from. And from there, I think we went to the grocery store, got a couple more things from the grocery store for dinner that night, because we didn't want to, after Mulla Ocean Tavern, we were like, nah, we're good. I'll make dinner, because that was ridiculous. So we bought some shrimp, we bought some steaks, we bought macaroni and cheese, we bought some vegetables. I did a wilted spinach, but we'll get onto that later. We wound up staying in the area because the little area that we were at with the Supercuts, where the craft market, everything was, the supermarket, everything was all in this like shopping mall kind of thing. And in that shopping mall was the Kahoma Ranch ATV tours, which we had been scheduled for at 12 o'clock, 12:30, I think was our time. And so that's like 6:30 at night Eastern time. So we get there and we're waiting around for all these other people. We were there, the first people there. And they tell us, you know, if you wreck the ATV, it's coming out of your credit card. You got to wear helmets, goggles, bandanas at all times. So I was like, Jesus, this is going to be crazy. We get in a van from the shopping mall, and the van takes us up the mountain a little ways. The bumpiest van ride I've ever had in my life, by the way. And we get up there, and it's these side-by-side ATVs. So like you're sitting in one seat, and there's a seat next to you, and you have a steering wheel, doors with a roll cage and nets. So if it does flip over, you're not going to get hurt or die. So they give us a little instruction, safety course kind of deal. And we get on the road, and I'm driving, obviously. Andy's not driving. I'm driving. And she's like, you better not drive it crazy. And I'm like, you're crazy. I'm driving this like I stole it. And I did. It was it was crazy. It was a crazy trail, all kinds of ruts and rocks and all kinds of crazy stuff, man. It was a rough ride. It was bumpy as hell. And I was gunning it. I was going so fast. At least for an ATV on those kind of little bumpy trails, going 30 miles an hour is pretty ridiculous. So we did about an hour of a ride up to the top of the mountain. And I think we were up at like something like 4,000, 5,000 feet, something like that. It was a beautiful view at the top. Our guides cut up some pineapple for us up at the top. A delicious pineapple. I mean, obviously, it's delicious pineapple. It's Hawaii. And we sat around, talked to some of the other guests or riders or whatever you want to call them. And then we got back in our ATVs and headed back down the mountain. All in all, it was about 2 hours. It was a nice little trip. Beautiful views, going through like the forest and, you know, lava fields at some point. It was really cool. Now that I mentioned lava fields, I might as well bring this up. There's a volcano going off right now, and it's like spewing lava, and it's like spitting out toxic sulfuric gases and stuff, and it's all over the news back in the States, or back in the mainland. It's like, you know, everybody's talking about it on the news. It's basically just like any other natural disaster. If there's a hurricane, you know, everybody goes crazy on the news channels, hurricane watch or whatever. And when we're in Florida, you know, we're used to it. So we're like, you guys can chill out, man. We're pretty good down here. We're used to having people be like, oh man, are you okay with that hurricane coming in? It seems kind of scary down there. No, we're used to it. We're built for it. We know what's going on. We're prepared. Same thing over here. Everybody's like, oh, is that volcano? You know, how's that volcano? Are you guys breathing in gases? Everybody that I've talked to has been like, are you guys in the volcano? Are you guys getting evacuated and all that stuff? And I'm like, no, dude. We're like on a completely different island. We're on Maui, and the volcano's on the big island, Hawaii. So, we are not experiencing any issues from the volcano. So fret not. We are safe. So after that ATV tour, we headed back down. I think we grabbed a couple of things at the market, and I cooked dinner that night. Cooked up some spinach. I wilted some spinach. I did the Velveeta macaroni and cheese, and did some mushroom kebabs, some pepper kebabs, and grilled shrimp. It was fantastic. Dinner was lovely, and everybody enjoyed everything. And at the end of the meal, we realized, oh shit, we never cooked those steaks that we got. So we got these two beautiful fillets, which the fat in it ran throughout it like it was almost like it was like a Kobe beef. It was really marbled, and it was fantastic meat. It looked delicious just raw. You could tell that steak was going to be so good. And we totally forgot to cook it. So I was like, that's fine. We'll do steak and eggs in the morning. I'll cook up some steak and scramble some eggs, and it'll be delicious. So that night we went to sleep early, pretty much as soon as we finished dinner, and woke up the next morning to delicious steak and eggs. What I did was I hard seared the steak on all sides, sliced it very thin, and it was still, pretty rare in the center. So I threw it back onto the pan for a little bit just to give it a little bit more of a cook on it. It still had like a medium center to each little thin slice of beef. It was fantastic. It was almost like a steak sandwich kind of a cut. And it was delicious. It was a great way to start out a morning where we were going to ride horses like cowboys in Hawaii. And that was Tuesday. So Tuesday we woke up, ate steak and eggs, and then went to Mendez Ranch, I think it was. I think it was Mendez Ranch. It was this 300-acre private ranch where they do these horseback tours. Like, all these celebrities came out there. The guy was telling us, Paris Hilton came out and did a horseback tour, the same horseback tour that we were doing. And she said that she could ride a horse, and wound up not being able to ride a horse. She almost fell off a couple of times. Katy Perry, he said, came in, and she flew in her own dressing room, which I'm pretty sure that I've seen her do before. I think it was like on Oprah or something. She has this insane friggin' dressing room that she carries with her everywhere she goes. So apparently it was time for everybody to go out on the horses, and Katy Perry was still in her dressing room, so they sent the old man up to her dressing room to knock on her door and tell her it was time. And apparently, now this is straight from the guy's mouth, the guy who is like the head guide at this place. He goes, she opened the door and she was completely naked and said, "Oh, hi, come in. I'll be just a second." Which I guess, made the old man's heart kind of palpitate a little bit, seeing beautiful naked Katy Perry, which, I wouldn't be opposed to, I wouldn't be offended if I saw a naked Katy Perry. But the horse trail was fantastic. My horse was named Buck because he liked to buck people up. No, I'm just kidding. He was actually named Buck because of his skin color. It was like a deer skin kind of deal going on, and it was he was really cool. I made friends with him real early on. Kept petting him and talking to him and being friends with him. And it was kind of rainy, a little slippery, so we got up to like a trot. We couldn't really run, but I got him up to like a trot, and it was pretty fun. There were these two ladies up in front of me who were absolutely terrified of being on horses. They had no idea what the hell they were doing. Like, the lady just kept yanking back on the reins, like pulling so hard back on the reins, and like the horse would like stop and it would start backing up because it's like, oh, you're pulling me backwards, you want me to back up? It's getting confused because these ladies had no idea what the hell they were doing. But they made it through, no issues. Actually, there was an issue in the beginning. We were all loading up on our horses, and this one lady is sitting on her horse, and she's like, the horse starts moving around, going backwards, and starts walking, turning around, kind of, and she's like, I don't know, I can't do this. She got all scared and said, I can't be on the back of a horse. She was obviously a city girl who has never been on a horse. I mean, it's not like I'm some country boy that's been, on horses every weekend for all my life. But I've been on plenty of horses in my life. I mean, I went horseback riding when I was probably like 4 or 5 years old. And I rode my own horse, so I learned how to ride a horse really young. And it was really nice. Nice little 2-hour ride around the Mendez Ranch. And it was kind of raining, but it still had a beautiful view. We were kind of going through like the jungles and seeing different wildlife and stuff. It was really cool. And then that was our last day there. Wednesday, we packed up and headed out. Before we left Lahaina, or Lahaina, however you say it, before we left, we went to a place called Cool Cat Cafe, which was also on the Maui Visitors Channel with the Mark Ellman restaurants. Cool Cat Cafe is like a burger joint, just your regular old burger joint. They have really good burgers, like really good. They were so delicious. I just had the regular burger. It had like Thousand Island pickles, cheese, lettuce, tomato, onion. I took the tomato and onion off. It was a real basic burger. And then I'm sitting next to Andy, and she goes, "Oh, look at this." She shows me a part of the menu that's got a stacked burger, like a giant burger. And it's called the 808 Challenge. The area code out here is 808 here on Maui. And this was the 808 Challenge. This is 8 cheeseburger patties with 8 slices of cheese. And you have to complete it in 30 minutes. And you'll get half of the bill. Half of your bill will be paid for by the Cool Cat, or they'll take off half of your bill. You get your name on a little plaque, and it goes on the wall, and you get a t-shirt. So, we're sitting there, I order my burger, and I see like some dude with like a professional quality camera, like a video camera, like he's for news or something, I don't know, and or like they're shooting a commercial or something for it, and I didn't see anything about like, any kind of warning saying, your likeness may be captured, we're filming here today, just be advised, nothing like that. So I was kind of getting pissed off. I was like, are they going to use my face in a commercial and I'm not like signing off and I'm signing a waiver or agreeing to this? This is kind of ridiculous. We order our food and I go, hey man, I go to our waiter, hey man, what are these cameras here for? Are you guys like doing a commercial or something? He goes, "Oh no, Man vs. Food is here today. He's going to be doing the challenge later tonight." I go, "What? The Travel Channel? You know, it's obviously not Adam Richman. It's Casey Webb now." But I was like, "What? That's awesome." I'm sitting there. He brings us our food, and all of a sudden, I see a big guy with bright red hair and a big bright Hawaiian shirt and a mustache, and I go, "Holy shit, that's Casey Webb." And I put my burger down, and I grab my phone, and I walk over to him, and I go, "Casey, what's up, man? Big fan of the show." He's like, "Thanks." And I was like, "Is it cool if I get a selfie really quick?" He was like, "Definitely, man." So we took a selfie. He made that crazy face that he always makes. And he was really cool. I talked to him for a little bit. He had been on Maui for a couple of days. And he went to a couple of other restaurants and stuff. And he was like, the challenge, we're doing the challenge at 4. You should stick around. I was like, "Oh, man, I would love to." And I went to go sit back down, and I'm like, "Hey, the challenge is at 4, everybody. We should stay here." And they were like, "No, we got to get to the resort." So I was like, "God damn it." So I started eating my food really slow. And I was like, well, maybe at least I could see a little bit of something. And fortunately I did. I got to see him do a little bit of an interview with the owner of the place and a couple of the guests. And I got a picture of them in production, so that was kind of cool. It was actually really cool to see something that I've watched on TV for years now actually be in production. So it was a lot of fun. The burger was fantastic. Andy got a root beer float, and I had a little bit of that. It was delicious. It was everything was really good about Cool Cat Cafe. So if you're ever in Maui and Lahaina, man, that is the spot to go to. The next place we went was the Cool Cat Cafe is kind of connected to like this outdoor like shopping mall where there's like all these gift shops and everything. So we went walking around a little bit. I was like, "Come on, let's walk around a little bit." So I was like, "Come on, maybe I can stall them a little bit until it's like 4 o'clock and be like, oh, look, it's 4 o'clock. We got to go back up there and see Casey Webb do the challenge. I mean, we're here. It's 4 o'clock." So we walked around. I bought a couple of necklaces for my brothers. It's kind of like the same one that I got with the fish hook. And Andy and I got matching Hawaiian clothes. I got a Hawaiian shirt. She got a Hawaiian dress. Like a really pretty blue color with these the plumeria flower on it. They're like the yellow and white ones. She was all excited because we had a luau the next night, so she was like super excited for that. So we got to the hotel, and the hotel was, I'm here right now. I'm at the hotel, so I'm going to start, it's talking as if I'm here currently and not in the past. The hotel is beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. There's like 9 different pools, 6 different hot tubs, very loud landscapers. What's going on here? Oh, they got the Toro mower out. Fantastic. What a great idea for me to do a fucking podcast outside. Shit. Anyways, alright, well, sorry about that. You're going to have to deal with that. You're going to have to deal with the sound. I'm dealing with it. You have to deal with it as well. Shit. Alright, so anyways, where was I? Okay, so there's like 9 different pools over here. It's right on the beach. This is what I thought Hawaii would be like. This is classic Hawaii. Hawaiian restaurant. Beautiful gardens. Oh, shit, that thing is so loud. Damn. Damn it. He is right there. Alright. Let's do this. Let's pause the episode. I'm gonna pause right now. We're about 50 minutes, and I just got to the hotel in my story. So, let me pause. I'll be back in a minute or two. Hopefully this guy will be gone with the damn lawnmower. Sorry about that, so just bear with me for a second. We'll be right back. Alright, and we're back. So, I took about 30-minute break there, waiting for these guys to finish up with their landscaping. It's all good now, as you can hear. Back to just hearing the wonderful sounds of the waterfall here at Grand Wailea. While I was on that break there, I decided to turn on 102.5 The Bone, because here in the mornings in Maui, the afternoon show, Drew Garabo, is a morning show. So I decided to call in and participate a little bit, ask him to do a nice little honkin' for me. And, of course, being Drew Garabo, he did not oblige my request. He instead told me about a movie called North Shore, which I will have to check out now, and played me a song from that. It's like a weird 80s version of the song called Funky Town, you know? So anyways, where was I? I was talking about getting here to the Grand Wailea. The first night we came here, we had dinner at a place called the Bistro, and it was very nice. I had some seared scallops with fermented black bean paste. It was delicious, very spicy. Andy got a braised lamb with cavatelli pasta, which was fantastic. It had goat cheese in it. Oh, anything with goat cheese, I swear, is so good. The next day, the entire family, except for myself and the girlfriend's aunt, who is not working for the company either, they all had to go down to the conference. The business meetings began on Thursday, which was yesterday. And so I was free for the morning, as I am today. I decided to head down to the beach, hop in the Pacific Ocean for the first time. The water's kind of cold. It's not really too bad, but it is a little chilly. So I stayed in the ocean for maybe about 20 minutes and got out. We had chairs, and I just sat down underneath a nice umbrella on the beach and relaxed for maybe an hour or so. And then I made my way back. Got some room service for lunch. I had some barbecue sauce from Cool Cat Cafe that we had brought along with us the day before, and I had some French fries that I heated up before I ordered room service. And I was like, man, this barbecue sauce is delicious. It would be fantastic on some chicken tenders. So I looked at the in-room room service, and they had two different types of chicken tenders. They had a regular kids order and a full adult order that came with some weird ranch and buffalo dipping sauce for the adult order. And I was like, you know what, I don't really need that, and it's probably going to be way too much food for me. So I ordered the kids one, which was nice. It came with a Dr. Pepper and a strawberry ice cream, which was delightful. And then by the time I was done with lunch, Andy was done with her meeting, because they only have half days. They're done about noon. And then we went down and checked out the pools. The pools are really cool here. They have a lazy river. They have a Tarzan swing. They have this thing called a water elevator that I had never even heard of. It's like a big tall room in a circle, but it's all, made to look like it's rocky and like a cave kind of. And what you do is you get in, and there's like a floating kind of a raft deal in there, and it's hooked up to this big pole that goes all the way to the top. And they flood. You come in through a door. They lock the door. It's got a seal on it. And they flood the entire thing with water, so it just raises the entire platform up to the top. So technically, you could go up to the top, go into the slide, come down the slide, stay in the water, get in the water elevator, go back up, and then just completely stay in the water the entire time. You can stay in the water while doing, the slide multiple times. They have some really cool water slides here. They have a lot of just like small slides that go from one pool to the other. And they have one slide that they call the lava tube. And it's about a 20-second little ride. And it's completely covered, one of those tubes that's completely covered. And at the end, it goes really fast. So that was a lot of fun. They have lots of little hidden grottos that have like hot tubs in them. There's a swim-up bar, a pool bar. So it's really cool. The pool's really nice. We stayed there for a while and just explored the pools. Didn't get anything to drink because I was on antibiotics. Thankfully, I finished those. And now I'm feeling fantastic, ready to get a drink or something like that now that I'm off the antibiotics. Actually, that's probably what I'm going to go do now after I finish this podcast. I'm going to probably go down to the pool, order a drink, and see how that goes. What else did we do? Yesterday, after we got done with the pool, we came back and relaxed a little bit. And we waited around until 5:30 when we went to the luau, which was like a company luau. The food was fantastic. Roast pig and meats and salads, delicious salads of all kind, a noodle salad, a macaroni salad, your regular greens salad. Was the greens salad was so good. It had a macadamia nut, pineapple kind of tasting dressing on it. It was so good that when I made my plate of salads, I had a little bit of everything, right? The greens salad was so delicious that I went back and got a plate of just salad, of just the green salad with the dressing. And, it was so good. It had feta cheese in it. So delicious. And then they did like a little entertainment with hula dancers, and it was really cool. It wasn't like your regular just hula thing. It was a whole presentation of like different dances throughout Polynesia. So we saw like a Samoan slap dance where these guys were like slapping themselves. The guy who introduced them was like, imagine these dancers are swarmed by mosquitoes. So it was pretty cool to see that. And the girls were doing their different dances. The beautiful Hawaiian girls in their little coconut bras and grass skirts, and they did a couple of different outfit changes where they would wear different traditional attire from different country or from different islands in Polynesia. One thing that I've definitely come to appreciate, and I really don't know if you can appreciate it without actually coming here, is the whole Polynesian culture. Everything from the tattoos to the art to all the different things, the dances, the language, everything. You really can't appreciate it until you get out here. At least I couldn't. I mean, I grew up as an American, knowing about Hawaii and having Hawaiian-themed parties and whatnot. And I never really cared, it was just like, whatever. It's just like how you would think of, like, Italian culture is or something, it's just like a stereotype, really. You don't really understand it. But when I came here and I'm around the people and I actually get to see a lot of the different artwork, and when we went to the tattoo shop, the guy does these Polynesian tattoos, and the thing with the Polynesian tattoos is that they actually are, it's more like a language. It tells a story, and the way it's placed together with other symbols and meanings, and it's just really, really cool. It's something that I definitely didn't appreciate until I got here, and now I'm completely fascinated with it. I would love to do some more research when I get home. Maybe even what I would really like to do is start doing some of the art, because it's beautiful art, and it's I'm not going to say it's really simple, but it is very basic. It's not, if you can draw shapes, you can basically do Polynesian artwork. So I would like to possibly research that a little bit more and get into it, and do something in the podcast studio when I get back. Some sort of artwork, maybe like a giant Maui fish hook with some cool Polynesian artwork on it. But I'd like to do a little bit more research on it. We've got a couple more days here. It's Friday right now. And what time is it now? What are we looking at time-wise? About 10 o'clock in the morning. So I got a lot of day left. Probably going to go down to the pool here in a little bit and get an alcoholic beverage, since I can now. I just hang out around the pool a little bit. Maybe even go to the pool bar and drink some there. That would be fun. Let me open this up. Sorry for the clicking, because I'm using the built-in microphone, so you can hear the little key taps when I'm opening the computer. But yeah, we've got 3 more nights here. Friday night, actually 2 more nights. Friday night and Saturday night, and Sunday we're taking off. The flight, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. We've been going for over an hour here now. The flight is absolutely brutal coming out here. 8.5 hours from Dallas, plus the 2.5 hours it took to get to Dallas at 6 o'clock in the morning. It was brutal. I didn't get any sleep the night before. Actually, I did. I got maybe 2 hours from midnight till 2 o'clock in the morning when we had to be up. I woke up at 2:30 and was ready to get out of here, or ready to get out of Tampa about 3:30. So we called up the Uber and made it to Tampa International at about 4-ish. Checked our bags, ate some breakfast at the Columbia restaurant, and waited around a little bit until we boarded our flight and left at 6 a.m. The flight from Dallas to Maui was absolutely ridiculous. It was 8.5 hours. It was the longest I've ever been on a plane. I watched a whole bunch of movies. I watched Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I watched Ant-Man. I listened to some classic rock and played some Nintendo DS. They gave us this really terrible, cold roast beef wrap, which was had some Asian vegetables and Asian sauces in it. It was decent. Wasn't terrible. But that was all we got for the entire flight, the entire 8.5 hours. So I ordered a little snack box about 2/3 of the way through to hold me over. Kind of dreading the flight back because it's going to be an overnight flight. We're going to leave Maui at 6 o'clock in the evening and get back to Tampa 10 o'clock in the morning the next morning. So I'm excited to go home. and be back home and check out the podcast studio, make sure everything's good over there. See my animals, relax at home finally. But I will definitely miss this place. It's beautiful. It's everything that I thought that Hawaii would be and more. And I will be sad to go. But hopefully one day we'll make it back out here. I'm sure we will. But yeah, that's about it. I think for the rest of the day, I'm just gonna hang out, and I think they've got the rest of the family that's with the business. They have to all go to an awards meeting tonight, and that's for employees only. So I'm not going to be able to go to that, unlike the luau last night. So yeah, so I guess I'm pretty much on my own for most of the day, except for a couple of hours in the afternoon. Yeah, let's party. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna go down to that pool bar and get lit up. So that's what I'm gonna do now. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Let me see. Do I have some sort of outro music? Let's see what we got here. Shoot. I mean, I don't really want to play the same outro music. Let's try this. Well, alright. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I will be back in Florida and be back next week. I don't know if I'm going to be doing a show with a guest, or maybe it'll be a Jerrad and Frank Watch Wrestling. Check that out on YouTube. Go to JerradShow.com for all of the podcasts that I do. Follow me on Twitter at Jerrad Show. Check out the Facebook, facebook.com/Jerrad Show. I don't post there very often because they don't like showing my posts to the people who like the page. That's a whole nother story, though. Thanks for tuning in and joining me on my Maui vacation. Have a great week.